Hello there, and welcome to Her Money Mindset, the podcast where we talk about all things money, mindset, and how our relationship with finances shapes our lives. I'm Courtney Schweinler, and I am so excited to have you here. This podcast is for women who want to take control of their financial futures, transform the way they think about money, and finally break free from any limiting beliefs or fears surrounding their finances. Whether you're just starting out on your money journey, looking to build wealth, or want to get clear on your financial goals, this show is for you. Here on Her Money Mindset, we're diving deep into topics like budgeting, saving, investing, and everything in between. But we're not just talking numbers and strategies. We're digging into the real reasons why so many of us struggle with money in the first place. Our mindset around money plays a huge role in how we handle it, and it's about time we got real with it. I'll be sharing tips and tools to help you feel more confident in your financial decisions, but we'll also be exploring how your personal history, upbringing, and past experiences with money can influence how you manage it today. It's time to heal that relationship with money and make it work for you. So, if you're ready to shift your mindset, build the life you deserve, and start making your money work for you, then you're in the right place. I cannot wait to take this journey with you. And I would love to invite you to join Her Money Club. So, this is my community for women wanting to work on their finances, feel less alone, and be held accountable. Inside Her Money Club, we have a different money theme each month, savings and no spend trackers related to the money theme, weekly money accountability check ins, exclusive podcast episodes, group coaching calls, a community forum to chat and ask and answer questions, and more. So if you're finally ready to give your money the attention it needs, Her Money Club is absolutely the place for you to be. And as an exclusive thank you for my podcast listeners, if you use code HMM Podcast, you'll get 50% off your first 2 months inside of Her Money Club. And that is less than $2 a week to start getting serious with your money. I'll have the link for you to sign up today in the show notes, and I cannot wait to see you there. And if you know that you want help with your money and money habits, but you want something faster than self-paced work, personalized, and someone to directly hold you accountable, sign up for private one-on-one coaching with me. I'll have the link in the show notes for you. You can either do a one-time one-on-one coaching call to answer your budgeting basics, get your budget set up, and get you on your way, or you can do my 12-week private coaching program for more accountability, structure, and motivation. Spots are limited, so sign up today for a free consultation call. And don't forget, I'm doing a giveaway for my podcast listeners that leave a review. All you have to do is leave a review for the podcast and include your Instagram handle in the review, and you'll be entered in to win a free coaching call as well as a little bonus on top of that. At the end of July, I'll announce the winner on the podcast as well as in a DM to you. This is a great way to tell me and others that you enjoy this podcast. Now, let's dive into this episode: how to use sinking funds to stay out of debt. So let's start with talking about what sinking funds are. So, sinking funds are money that you set aside for specific purposes. So, this is different from like bills and debts and emergency funds and things like that. Emergency funds is for true emergencies, like your AC went out or something, and or you need new tires on your car and it's just completely random and unexpected, right? But sinking funds is money that you set aside for an expected expense that you can put money away for throughout the entire year as needed. So, for example, this could be something like your car registration. So, if you have multiple cars that you know that you need to renew the registration each year, you can put money away. So, let's say for you have 3 cars and your registration for all 3, let's just make it easy and let's say it's going to be $300. You can set aside $100 a month until you hit that $300. Another example is holidays. So if you have not started saving for Christmas, guess what? Now is the time. Yes, seriously, in July, you need to be thinking about Christmas and you need to be putting money aside for Christmas. Because what you can do is you can make that sinking fund, label it Christmas or label it holidays for whatever you celebrate. And if you want $600 for Christmas, that means you can put away $100 a month starting this month in July. Put away $100 a month, and that will give you $600 by December for gifts. If you know that you have annual memberships that renew, you can put money aside for that. Another example, back to school expenses or birthdays. So my kids, they both have birthdays in August. And what I do, depending on how much money I want to spend for their birthdays, usually in April or May, I will start putting money into a sinking fund for their birthdays. That way, when August comes around, I have all of the money I need right there. I don't have to worry about incorporating it into my budget in August and just managing to come up with that money. And your sinking funds are a great way to prevent debt. And the reason why this works so well and is so effective is because instead of using your credit cards or a personal loan for these expenses, you're using your sinking funds that you already planned for and you put money aside for. So, for example, most people go into debt because of these expenses that they knew were going to happen, but they didn't plan for them. So, a lot of times people go into debt like crazy around Christmas because they didn't plan for the amount of money that they wanted to have to spend for Christmas gifts. So now they're scrambling to come up with the money and it's going on a credit card. So, having these sinking funds in place is such an amazing way to prevent yourself from going into further debt and to give yourself an actual plan and an actual peace of mind, knowing that you're prepared. Knowing that when you open that high yield savings account with SoFi, you can look at your sinking funds and you can say, yep, I've got this much money in my emergency fund. I've already got $200 set aside for Christmas, and I have $500 set aside for all of my kids' birthdays so far. And you have peace of mind because you know that money is there. You know it's there, and when you're ready to use it, it's there. I keep saying that over and over again, but seriously, I am telling you, if you have not started setting up sinking funds yet, once you start doing this, it truly is going to be so life changing and it is going to make such a big difference in your financial peace of mind because you know that the money is there when you need it. So, let's talk about how to set up these sinking funds. So first, you got to make sure that you have a high yield savings account. A high yield savings account is a great place to keep these sinking funds because you're able to separate them out by category. So I'll have the link in the show notes for SoFi. SoFi, if you sign up with that link, you also get a $25 bonus on top of that just for setting up your account. Then you can go in and you can set up sinking funds in your savings. So, for example, my sinking funds, I have my emergency fund, I have my kids' birthdays, like I said, I have Christmas, I have travel. My husband is in plumbing school, so we have sinking funds set up for his semester tuition and fees and things like that. So, you can list all of your irregular or upcoming expenses over the next 6 to 12 months. So, like I said, for example, Christmas, travel, car registration, whatever it might be, birthdays, holidays. Then you're going to estimate the total amount for each sinking fund you want to set aside money for. Then you're going to divide that total by the number of months, or if you want to do it by paycheck, you can do it by the number of paychecks you want to save. So, then you're going to add these amounts to your monthly budget where it works. So, for example, if you want $600 a month or if you want $600 for Christmas, if you divide that by 6 months, that gives you $100 a month that you need to put into that sinking fund. And when I say add these into your budget, do it when it makes sense. So for me, at this beginning half of the year, I save for my kids' birthdays because their birthdays are in August. Then, once we start doing that, then from August on to December, we'll start saving for Christmas and putting money into those sinking funds. So obviously, I wouldn't start saving for Christmas at the very beginning of the year just because that doesn't make sense and I have other priorities that come first. So do it based on your priorities and do it based on what you need to have first. So obviously, if your car registration is in April, and Christmas isn't until December, you need to start saving for that car registration first. Then, once you do that and you get that done and out of the way, then you can move on to your next thing. You can move on to your birthdays and Christmas or whatever you celebrate. And then great tools. So, like I said, use SoFi. This gives you these separate sinking fund accounts that you can have underneath your general savings umbrella. And then another really great tool is actually my budgeting template. So, I'll have that linked in the show notes for you as well. And the reason why this works so well for sinking funds is because this is an annual budgeting template. So, you can set up through the entire year what you need to save for and when you need to save for it. And there's also an annual overview tab where you can look and you can see how much money you have saved in each sinking fund so far throughout the entire year, and it will give you the total as well. So this is a super great resource, so I'll have that linked for you in the show notes as well. And like I've mentioned, the best categories to start with are the most common starter sinking funds. So holidays, birthdays, car maintenance, back to school, travel. If you don't have an HSA account, if you know that you're going to have some medical copays or some prescriptions, set aside money for that. If you own your own home, home repairs, car registration. So, like I said, my personal top 3, we have my husband's school, we've got our emergency fund, we've got my kids' birthdays, we've got Christmas. So, we just have so many. I just love sinking funds. They are such a perfect way to get yourself prepared, give yourself peace of mind, and know that you have the money when you need it. So, and when you're not expected to be able to afford all of these sinking funds at once. So that's why I said to look at the calendar overview and look at the entire year and prioritize based on when you need the money throughout the year. And it's okay not to be perfect when you're doing this. You need progress. You're not going to be perfect overnight. That's okay. I'm not perfect. I still am not perfect. And that is okay. You need to make progress. The more progress you make, the more that you are going to teach your brain that you are reliable, you are trustworthy, and you can continue to do this, and you can continue to have more and more money in your accounts without feeling like you need to get rid of it and you need to spend it and you need to do something with it. You will learn that over time. And tracking your sinking funds is super important. So you want to make sure that you label these sinking funds so you know if you're tempted to go take money out of that sinking fund, you look at that label and you say, okay, if I take $100 from here, I'm taking $100 away from my kid's birthday. If I take $200 out of this account, I know that we get $200 less for Christmas. So this is why it's really important to label these so that way you know what the money is for and you have that kind of like fail-safe system set in place where you have to look at what you're sacrificing if you want to take that money out. Then you also want it to be separate from your general savings. So that way, like I said, you know what it's for and you know how much you have allocated for each section. And a great way to keep track of this is in that budgeting template and within SoFi because they allow you to do those separate sinking funds so you can actually see the individual amounts. And when you need to use your sinking fund, don't feel guilty about it. That's exactly what this money was for. That's exactly what the money was for. So if you wanted to save $500 for your kids' birthdays and the time has come and that $500 is gone and you see $0 in that account, perfect. That is exactly what you wanted to use the money for. And you were able to save it up and you were able to spend that $500 on what you planned for and what you intended for. And that is amazing. Then, what you're going to do after is when it falls back into your budgeting cycle, you're just going to work on replenishing that fund. So, you're going to acknowledge you had a win. Your system worked. You had the money for your kids' birthdays. And now you can move on to your Christmas sinking fund. Then, once Christmas is over and all of that money is gone, perfect, amazing. Your kids and you had a wonderful Christmas because you set that money aside. They had gifts under the tree. Everything worked out, right? Then you're going to move back to the beginning of the year and you're going to start putting money back in your kid's birthday sinking fund and you're going to replenish that money. And you're going to do it over and over again, because this is the best cycle ever. This is a positive money cycle and it works. It works, you guys. So let's talk about how to build these sinking funds into a bigger financial plan. So this helps you stay out of debt. This helps build your financial confidence because your money is there when you need it. And it gives you less stress. You don't have to freak out and scramble to get money when you need it because it's there already. You don't have to stress about adding more money onto your credit cards because you don't need to. You already set aside the money way in advance because you thought about it and you planned for it. And this method builds trust in yourself, your financial habits, and it reminds you that you can do hard things. You can. You can. And when you start doing this, you will realize that you actually are capable of doing it. So, a great way to work your way into this is if you feel like you need accountability to actually keep that money in that account, come join us in Her Money Club or do private one-on-one coaching with me. This is a perfect way to hold yourself accountable, either by self-reporting into Her Money Club and saying, hey, this is my savings goal for this week for my sinking fund. This is how much I was actually able to put in here. I'm feeling really proud of myself, or I would love to get some tips and advice from you guys on what works for you to actually stick to it. Or you can do it with me, and when we meet, we can say, hey, I know you were working on XYZ sinking fund. I would love to hear how your progress is going, and let me give you some tips and tricks on how to work on it if you're needing a little bit more of a push. And there's nothing wrong with needing help. There's nothing wrong with needing accountability. I had a personal money coach as well, and that's exactly what got me started on this journey, was because she was so helpful for me. And I want to be able to do the same thing for others. So the link is in the show notes. Sign up for a one-on-one with me. I would love to help you. So that is a wrap on today's episode of Her Money Mindset. And I hope that you're walking away feeling more prepared and empowered to start using sinking funds in your budget. Sinking funds is something I just love. I am so passionate about sinking funds because it truly does make all of the difference in the world when you're prepared. So remember, debt usually doesn't come from huge emergencies. It sneaks in through birthdays, back to school shopping, car repairs, holiday spending, all of the things that you could plan for. Sinking funds are your secret weapon to staying out of debt and staying in control. So if you're ready to start using sinking funds, but you need a little help getting organized, you can grab my budgeting template, like I mentioned, or grab the full budgeting basics bundle. This is how you get set up with a good system and a good plan. And just for listening today, you can get 25% off at checkout if you use code THANKYOU25. And if you want support and accountability while you build your better money habits, come join us inside Her Money Club. This is where we turn budgeting into a lifestyle and we cheer each other on. The link is in the show notes. And you can also book a one-on-one coaching session with me or apply for private coaching, which is a 12-week program if you want personalized help. I seriously would love to support you and I would love to help you. There is nothing wrong with saying that you need help. And like I said, I even used a money coach as well when I was getting started, and it made all of the difference. And hey, if this episode helped you, please share it with a friend and don't forget to leave a review. This means so much to me. I love, love, love when a review pops up and I get to read it. And you leaving a review helps more women find this podcast. So if you leave your Instagram handle in the review, you'll be entered in to win a free coaching call and a little surprise bonus from me. Thank you so much for being here today. And go label those sinking funds, sign up for that high yield savings account, get your budgeting template, give your future self a high five because you've got this. You are setting yourself up for financial success. And I am telling you, setting up sinking funds, you are going to see it truly makes a world of difference and it will give you the peace of mind you've been looking for. So you've got this, and I will see you on Friday. I hope you guys have the best week. If you need anything in between now and then, please email me, DM me on Instagram, or sign up for a one-on-one coaching call, and I will be there to support you and to help you every single step of the way. Bye, guys.